You know that sound. You're outside enjoying the day, and then you hear it, that buzz. And your first instinct is probably, well, panic. But what if that insect, the wasp, is actually one of the most misunderstood and vital players in your backyard? Today, we're going to rethink the wasp, from pest to partner.
So this is the big question, isn't it? You spot a nest. It's maybe a little too close to where the kids play, and your brain just screams, that has to go. It feels like a simple choice, your family's safety versus the wasps. But is grabbing that can of poison really the only move? Is it even a best one?
And listen, if you've ever felt that way, you are so not alone. This quote from Catherine over at Farming My Backyard just hits the nail on the head. You do what you think you have to do to protect your space, and then this little wave of regret washes over you. You're left wondering, was there a better way? That feeling of doubt, that's actually the perfect place to start. Because before we can figure out what to do, we kind of have to know who we're even dealing with. Because it turns out the word wasp covers a whole lot of different insects. Okay, let's break this down. You know those open, sort of umbrella-shaped paper nests you see tucked under the eaves of your roof? Those are built by paper wasps, and here is the absolute key. They're generally way less aggressive. They're really only going to sting if you mess directly with their home. Now, the ones that give all wasps a bad name, those are usually yellow jackets and hornets. They're the ones that build massive enclosed nests, sometimes in the ground, and can be, well, let's just say they can be very aggressive. So for our chat today, we're focusing on our much more chill neighbors, the paper wasps. All right, now we get to the really cool part. This is where the whole story about wasps gets completely flipped on its head. Because far from being just some random nuisance, these wasps are actually performing a critical service in your yard. And get this, they're doing it for free. So you might see an adult wasp sipping some nectar from a flower. That's just a little sugar rush for them. The real mission is feeding their babies back at the nest. And those larvae? They are protein machines. They need a constant supply of caterpillars, aphids, all the little bugs that love to destroy our gardens. I'm talking about the very pests munching on your tomato plants and your roses. Wasps are basically a free, all-natural pest control service. And this isn't some small-time operation. I mean, just listen to this quote from wasps biologist Syrian Sumner. She says that without wasps, our planet would be pest-ridden to biblical proportions. Wow. Let that sink in for a second. They are top-tier predators in the insect world, and without them, the damage to our food crops and gardens would be absolutely catastrophic. But wait, there's more. Pest control is just one part of their incredible resume. We all love to celebrate bees as our primary pollinators, and rightly so, but we almost never talk about the other essential players in the game. Take a look at this number right here, over 160. So what's that about? Well, that is the number of plant species that are completely dependent on wasps for pollination. We're talking about certain kinds of figs and orchids that would literally go extinct without their specific wasp partners. And that's not even counting all the other plants where they act as crucial backup pollinators. So let's just recap this amazing job description. They are top predators of pests. They are essential pollinators. And as if that weren't enough, scientists are now finding that their spit and their venom contain powerful antibiotic compounds. Some are even showing promise in fighting cancer cells. This is not a pest. It's a tiny biological powerhouse. Okay, I get it. They're beneficial, that's great for the planet, but you probably still don't want a nest right over your front door, and that is totally fair. The good news is, learning to coexist doesn't mean you just have to let them build wherever they want. There are some really effective, poison-free ways to guide them away from high-traffic areas. The trick is to be proactive. So, in the early spring, when the queens are just starting to look for a place to build, you can make the usual spots, like your porch ceiling, less appealing. A simple spray of vinegar and orange oil can work wonders. Another great tip? Hang up a fake wasp nest. When a queen sees it, she'll think, oops, territory's already taken, and she'll move on. And hey, if you do catch a brand new nest when it's still super tiny, a strong blast from your garden hose is usually enough to encourage them to find a new spot. No chemicals needed. Now, for a question I get all the time. The season's over, winter's here, and you've got this beautiful, papery, but maybe kind of creepy-looking empty nest hanging around. What are you supposed to do with it? Okay. This is the single most important thing to know about those old nests. In the fall, the entire colony dies off except for the new queens. Those queens then go find a safe place to hibernate for the winter, and it is not in the old nest. Come spring, they start all over, building a completely new nest from scratch. that old nest is permanently abandoned. They will never reuse it.
So the decision to take it down or leave it up isn't so black and white. On one hand, leaving it can actually work like a decoy, making new queens think the spot is taken. On the other hand, it might become a home for other bugs, or even a fire hazard in really dry climates. Really, the choice is yours, but at least now you can make that choice knowing for a fact that it is completely empty of wasps.
So we've come a pretty long way, haven't we? We started this whole journey by looking at a threat, something to be afraid of. And now, hopefully, we're seeing a complex, incredibly beneficial neighbor. We've moved from fear to, well, to a place of informed respect. And that's really the big takeaway here. That wasp buzzing around your garden isn't out to get you. It's a tiny garden manager, a protector of your plants, a pollinator. It's a living, buzzing sign that you have a healthy, balanced ecosystem right in your own backyard. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. The next time you see that familiar black and yellow insect flitting by, what are you going to see? Will you still see a pest that needs to be destroyed? Or will you maybe, just maybe, see a partner doing its small but vital part to keep your world in balance?